Chapter 3, Kidnapped. It turned out that Carla didn't make it home after school. She didn't call home either. Her mom phoned everybody, but no one knew where she was. But someone saw me walking behind her on Park Street. Mrs. Tootie called the cops, and now the cops were calling on me. I tried explaining again. I never stalked Carla, I said. I never even meant to hit her with that snowball or anything. Stuff just happened. Listen, son, said one of the cops. You've hit her and knocked her down and... Accidents, I yelled. And she broke up your friendship with your best friend, right? I squirmed. Well, yeah, that's part right. So it seems only reasonable that you had something to do with her disappearance, said the cop. You were the last person to see her. My mom moaned. My dad said, Out with it, son. What happened? What was I? I looked at my parents. This is just great. Thanks for your trust. How could you think... I stopped talking. Another brainstorm. I'm not the last person, I yelled. I saw her get into a car. No, it was a van on Park Street. Are you lying, Sam? Be very careful, said the cop. I'm not lying. This van honked and she got in. Suddenly the cops were really serious. What kind of van? I tried to remember. Well, it wasn't special, just an old white van. I hardly remember. So then the cops made me go over and over my story. What did the van look like? What time was it? Are you sure? Did you see the driver? Did you see the license plate? And on and on. Well, it was just after 5 and I didn't see the driver. And I didn't look at the plate. Why would I? But it had an awful lot of mud on it. I suddenly remembered. Mud? In this weather? Asked a cop. I nodded. Then a cop phoned Mrs. Tootie to ask about the van. And for a moment we thought all was solved. Mrs. Tootie had a friend who drove an old white van, so some other cops went off to his house. But it didn't pan out. The guy was at the dentist all afternoon, so it wasn't him. But it might explain why Carla got into the van, said one of the cops. She might have thought she knew the driver. And she was trying to get away from you, Sam. Everybody looked at me again. What could I say? The cops left and I tried to sleep, but the cops were back in the morning, and this time one of them was Officer Brannon. What a relief! She knew both me and Simon. She knew all about the crooks we had caught over the last few years. She knew I wasn't a jerk. So, Sam, here's the deal, said Officer Brannon. We put out an Amber Alert for Carla. That means radio and TV stations are getting out the news. And it means we have cruisers looking for an old white van. I couldn't eat my cereal. An Amber Alert is serious. I suddenly felt pretty sick. Now, what are we going to... Now what we're going to do is this, Officer Brannon went on. We've got lots of police out searching the streets. We want you to come with us. We're just going to drive around, okay? All you have to do is keep your eyes open for the van, okay? I nodded. I didn't think I had a choice. On the bright side, I got to miss school. I got dressed and went with the police. And we drove around and around and around, just up and down streets, looking into alleys, driving through parking lots. I knew this was serious, so I tried my best, but after a few hours I was really tired and I was really hungry and I really had to pee. Don't you guys have to stop for a donut? I finally asked. They didn't laugh, but they did stop. They pulled up to Pizza Palace. Is it okay if I run across the street? I asked. I really want Burger Bob's. Fine, stay there. We'll pick you up after we get our pizza, said Officer Brannon. I ran over to the hamburger joint. Should I pee first or order first? I went up to the counter and ordered 2 double burgers with the works, no pickle. Maybe I should make that 3 burgers. No telling how long I was going to be stuck riding around in the cop car. And a super soda and a chocolate freezy twist, I added. That'll be $15.59. I put my hand in my pocket. What an idiot. I didn't have any money. Hold my order. I'll be right back. I ran outside and looked for the cops. I was working for them, right? They had to pay for my meal, right? But they were still at Pizza Palace, so I turned to go back inside and explain. And besides, I had to pee. But that's when I saw it. The van, an old white van splashed with mud.